Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you have all had a good week so far. I realize that right now my presentation says Top Thursday. I wish it was Thursday and getting close to the weekend, but it's actually Tuesday, so still a little bit more to go. My name is Eddie Ramirez, and I'm the Assistant Director for the Transfer Opportunity Program. I primarily work with community colleges in the North State region. So that would include like Shasta College, Yuba, Woodland, Sierra, Santa Rosa, and Mendocino College. But I've also done recruitment all over the states and work with a lot of different community colleges and even high school students as well. Today, we will be going over the Finding Your Community presentation, which really is to give you all a little bit more information on some of the resources that we have at UC Davis. Obviously, choosing a university is a pretty big step. And you want to know that the places that you are going to do have the resources that you'll need in order to succeed moving forward. So hopefully by the end of this presentation, you will be able to have a little more insight on what UC Davis has to offer on the side of resources. And today, I'm actually also joined by a couple of our student outreach ambassadors who are there to be able to answer any questions you may have as well. And then I'm also being joined by Sophia from Avenue M, who will be able to give you all a little more information about the Avenue M program towards the end of the presentation. So we'll go ahead and get started. So again, here are some of the topics we'll be covering. We'll be going over some of the centers on campus that I believe everyone should be taking advantage of once you're a student at UC Davis. And also, again, some of those research communities, the transfer housing communities, just health and wellness overall. And again, Avenue M also on this list. So, one of the easiest ways to get involved on campus and start building that community and taking advantage of resources will come from student clubs and orgs. Now, when I first transferred into a UC campus, I didn't know anyone. I was brand new. I was just taking classes when I first started and really didn't know what to do with my free time outside of the classes I was taking. And when I first joined a club, actually one of the first clubs I joined was a spoken word poetry club. I remember finally feeling like I belonged somewhere and had a community to start building and working with and getting to know better. And from then on, I started joining other clubs. I joined hockey club and then kind of just expanded from there and really took advantage of the opportunity that there are so many clubs and organizations on campus. Here at UC Davis, we do have over 800 clubs, almost 900 clubs and orgs, to be honest. And it's very easy to access them and get to know them. One of the easiest ways, of course, comes from just the tabling that they do outside in the lawns we have here at UC Davis, where you could go up to them and they'll talk to you a little bit more about what they do and how to join. And then that's how you kind of get that process started. We also have like our club day and like a student involvement fair to really promote students to go in and start getting to know these clubs and orgs and start joining them as well. Now, a lot of this, these questions as to how do I get involved on campus can be answered through the Center for Student Involvement. Here, they help students get and find those experiences that will get them involved on campus in the different ways that they would like to. One thing that I think people don't know is that clubs and orgs is not just for fun activities, although that is a big part of it. There are also clubs and orgs that cater towards professional experiences you may be looking for. Sometimes students are interested in maybe going to a law program after they graduate with their undergraduate degree, and there are clubs and orgs that help students with that pathway. Some may be looking into medical schools afterwards, and then some of these clubs will kind of help you connect with students who are on the same pathway. That way, you can always rely on these other students if you need any help, and you're all kind of sharing the same experience as you're going along. And again, this Center for Student Involvement, they do encourage students to work on their personal and professional growth and retention, right? Because as you're working through these professional clubs and orgs, and also ideally adding on some of those more personal clubs and orgs, you get to develop yourself in a better way outside of the classroom. Now, some of you just may be unsure of what to do. I know that at this point, it's very early on, and the first step, of course, is getting to the university. But once you are a UC Davis student, one of the best tools that we have available to students is the Student Involvement Calculator. So if you're not really sure what it is that you want to do with your free time, what types of clubs and orgs you want to be a part of, you use this calculator to find that out. It does ask you for what your hobbies are, your interests, and your goals. Just sample a few questions, and then it will give you a list of some of those clubs and organizations that kind of cater to that. And then it also gives you the contact information. So as you're kind of going through the process, ideally you're able to connect with them one-on-one, like during with the times that they're tabling. But in case you can't meet them at that time, you have their contact information, start reaching out. Another thing to note is that starting clubs is fairly easy to do so on campus as well. As long as you have a group of friends and you start building that up together, it is something you can do as well. Now, campus, it can be a pretty big space, right? We have over 30,000 students on our campus, so it could feel like it's easy to get lost. Of course, as transfer students, for example, as you kind of go through the process, you'll realize that you'll be going straight into your upper division courses, so it's a much smaller group of students you'll be working with. But still, you always want to find your community, especially if you are coming from further out of the Sacramento and Davis area. So we do have all these places here shown in the map that you can go to, different centers that will help you find that community. As you can see here, we have our International Center for our international students and scholars. We have in the Memorial Union our Chicanx and Latinx Academic Student Success, Center for Student Involvement, which I already mentioned, Veteran Success Center, just to mention a few, and a few others spread out in the Student Community Center, the South Silo, and University House, and all those buildings in that area. So as you can see here, there's a lot of places for you to go and to find that community. And I'll be going over a few of them in the coming slides. So the first up is the Student Community Center. Now, here at this space, of course, there are a few places you can go to, some centers you can go to connect with students, but it's also a really good study and hangout space. There are a lot of places in either the main floor in the lobby, or even as you could see here in the outside like deck area, where you can go in, have a meal, start studying, and there's plenty of space for you to share it with your friends as well. There are nap areas as well, because I know sometimes you just need that nap, a little quick break during the middle of the day, or sometimes during the start of the day, just to get you recharged and ready for your next class, your next assessment, whatever it may be. There is a conference room space that can be booked as well, a computer lab. Of course, we all need to charge our devices. If you're like me, I'm always running, at least on my phone, with the like 20% yellow bar on it. So you always need to have spaces to go and charge it. So those outlets are there. For those who still use Blue Books and Scantrons, those are available there. Different whiteboards and even a reflection room, again, to kind of help you and guide you with your studies or just, personal things that you're working through. So it's always good to take a look at this space and take advantage of it as well while you're a student at UC Davis. I did want to bring up the Educational Opportunity Program. So EOP does focus on preparing students, participants, to succeed academically on campus. Again, you'll probably hear a theme across a lot of the things that I mentioned in this presentation, that we want to make sure that you have the space to succeed. Now, success is more than just the academic guidance that, for example, EOP can offer you, but also some of that social and personal support. It is a pretty big step to go to a university, and especially for those of you who may be traveling from, again, further out in the Davis and Sacramento areas, a lot of your support systems probably are still back home. So we want to make sure you are able to find that support system on campus. We also want to make sure you're able to develop yourself as a person and professional. So they do help out with advocacy and leadership development. And of course, those financial resources can be very key as you're navigating your time at UC Davis. Now, here is a list of some of those UC Davis initiatives and centers that we have here on campus, starting with the Asian and Pacific Islander Retention Initiative, Center for African Diaspora Student Success, Center for Chicanx, Latinx Academic Student Success, and so on and so forth. So there are plenty of places here for you to feel at home. But another thing is, these places are all open to all students. So even if you don't necessarily identify with a specific group, you could still go there and hang out. They have a lot of study spaces and even some library spaces there as well for you to check out books. Again, they sometimes even host events there as well, so that you're able to be a part of the community and learn more about them as well. I do want to go over the collective as well. You know, students, especially transfer students, come from all walks of life. You know, whether the transfer, re-entry, some of them are parents or just non-traditional students. We have spaces like the collective to kind of help you with different programs of support. So as you can see here, they do host socials, community-specific spaces, mentorship programs, which I feel is actually pretty big, right? There are students who have gone through that experience before you who are willing to share and kind of help you out as you're going through the UC Davis experience. So it's a pretty big part of them to be able to have the mentorship programs here available. And then, of course, workshops and study spaces, again, there to help you out to navigate this journey. The AB 540 Undocumented Student Center. It is built on the foundation of educational equity and opportunity. So it is there to help students find different resources that may be available for them and for their family and different community members as well. Or if you'd like to help out in this community, they also again host events for you to be a part of. Moving on to the LGBTQIA plus student resources, as you can see here, they do host a lot of events here on campus. And here's a quick sample of some of them with Pride Month, Queer Community Wisdom and Awareness Days as well. Again, another center that's open, has a lot of space for students to go to and again study, meet with friends, have a meal, whatever it may be. And we have the Women's Resource and Research Center here as well. So they do have multiple study spaces, free testing materials, free snacks, coffee and tea. Again, having that caffeine during, especially during exam weeks, is going to be a must. And then places to nap and rest as well, along with, you know, printing and private rooms that you can go ahead and reserve too. No, the Transfer and Reentry Center, again, having that transfer experience can be very unique for some folks. So we do have this space for you to build community. There are students who are transferring from all over the state, all over the country, and even outside of the country. So this space is here to have that home away from home for you. There are the quiet study spaces, computers that you can go ahead and use as well, including printing services. They do have Coffee Tuesdays as well, and the space is newly renovated. And again, they do help support students in various ways. One can be through peer advising, for example, which again, students who have already gone through this process and this experience are out there sharing what they've gone through. They also support students through orientation and transfer fall welcome, which is key as they are starting off their time at UC Davis. Uh, Hopefully you don't hear the truck just passing by. But yeah, so it's having that first, you know, welcome and the beginning of the school year can be very helpful in navigating a time that can be a little scary. They do have different community engagement events like game nights and different programming, workshops and events. Also, first year Aggie Connections for transfer and reentry students, and then scholarship opportunities. That's another thing I would like to mention out of a lot of these centers is that they can be a good resource for you to look up different scholarships. Some of them may be specific to like the different centers that they're able to give out to students depending on you meet specific criteria. but it's always good to be involved, right? Because by being involved, you can find out more about these opportunities and then try to take advantage of them. Now, the student parent resources, again, this is another population of students that it can be a very unique experience. So they do help students out with academic support and leave options. We understand that sometimes transfer students who are parents, or even if they're not transfer students, they may need some of that additional support. In some cases, they may need to take a break as well. So they do help students with that side of the process. They also assist with childcare and activities, again, community and events, crisis support services, which is very key, financial support and scholarships, again, a huge resource for students to take advantage of. They also have resources for expecting and new parents. There are some people that I've known who have come to UC Davis and they've had, children who are old enough themselves to sometimes go to UC Davis. But some of them, this is a whole new experience for them of having children and still going to school. So it's great that we have that. Same with student housing. We do have housing accommodations for families. So that could be another thing that could help them navigate through. And then moving on to the Veteran Success Center, it is there for students to kind of help them navigate through that side of the process. There are students who are family members of veterans, or they themselves are veterans, and they're there to answer all the questions you may have. Some of it could be related to priority enrollment. They also host different social events. They have networking as well, and peer advisors, tutoring. And that's another thing, please make sure to take advantage of tutoring wherever it's available to you. They do have a VA a certified official, VA advisor, work study positions available too, in case you're looking for some of those, a study room, lounge kitchen, and then day use lockers as well. Then I want to go through the Guardian Scholars Program. They do help students with that transition for former foster youth, kind of going through the process of transferring and or attending a four-year institution. They do have their graduation pathway programs as well to kind of help students feel supported as they go through the entire process. And then same with the post-graduation planning. A lot of times, students, as they're nearing their graduation, they sometimes don't know what they're going to do or what's that next step. So it's great that the Guardian Scholars Program has that available to them to be able to help them navigate what the next step is, whether it's a career, graduate school, professional school, whatever that may be. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, I am joined today by Sophia from Avenue M, who will be able to share a little bit more about the program. Sophia, would you like me are you going to share some slides?
That'd be great if I could. Thank you.
Perfect. All right.
All right, just 1 second. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Eddie. Like Eddie said, I'm Sophia Mendelson, and I'm an Avenue M Outreach Coordinator at the UC Davis School of Medicine. So today I'm just here to talk to you about the Avenue M program, how we support our students, and how you can get involved. So the first question is, what is CMSP Avenue M? Avenue M is often referred to as CMSP Avenue M because we are funded by the California Medicine Scholars Program. And this is a statewide initiative to get community college students into medical school. And they have 4 hubs of regional healthcare opportunity throughout the state. So Avenue M at UC Davis School of Medicine represents the greater Northern California hub. And our program focuses on increasing the number of physicians that come from Northern California community colleges. And when we select our students, we specifically look for students that come from historically underrepresented backgrounds in medicine or medically underserved communities. I do want to note that our program is longitudinal, so students start with us in community college and are with us for however many years it takes to get into medical school, so a multi-year program. But during that time, our program is designed to eliminate barriers to medical school entry and provide support, mentorship, and other resources to students. And then finally, we help our community college students transfer to UC Davis, Sacramento State, or Cal Poly Humboldt, and then ultimately to the medical school of their choosing. This map just shows the scale of our program. So we are focused in Northern California, and our community colleges span as far south as Solana, which is this light blue dot over here, and as far north as the College of the Siskiyous, which is on the California-Oregon border. And then again, this graphic just shows our partnering institutions. So we're partnered with 13 community colleges across Northern California. And these schools are located in the greater Sacramento region, in the Redding Shasta area, and then along the Redwood Coast, which is the Humboldt and Mendocino counties. So to apply to Avenue M, you must be enrolled in one of these community colleges and then intend to transfer to one of our three transfer institution partners. So again, Cal Poly Humboldt, Sac State, or UC Davis. And then at the end of the arrow is the UC Davis School of Medicine, which is where this program was born out of. And we would love for all of our students to go to UC Davis for medical school, but we will help our students get into any medical school of their choosing. And then this spreadsheet just shows the benefits of being an Avenue M scholar. And kind of a theme that I've been hearing throughout this presentation is community. And our program really works to build a supportive community for our students. Because the pre-med pathway can be pretty isolating and competitive, but we want to create a network of support amongst our students. So we are a cohort-based program. So every year we accept 50 new students into Avenue M. And the students in the cohorts are in a similar spot in their academics. They're all in community college at the time that they join their cohort, and they're all working towards the shared goal of being a physician. So the cohort's really there as a network of people that are like-minded and working towards a similar goal, and are there to kind of help rally and support you from the time you're in community college all the way to medical school entry. We provide targeted admissions advising. So we work really closely with our transfer partners at Davis, Sac State, and Cal Poly Humboldt. We typically have representatives come and talk to our students about the application, provide tips and tricks, and just support them with the transfer application. And we also work very closely with the admissions department at the UC Davis School of Medicine to help our students with medical school applications. Um, a huge perk of Avenue M is it's completely free to students. It is free to apply to, it is free to be in, and you actually get scholar awards of up to $1,000 for hitting certain milestones in the program. We host most of our programming virtually because, as you saw, our program does span such a wide scale across Northern California, but we do have some in-person programming, which includes a summer immersion program, which is a 2-week in-person program at the UC Davis School of Medicine. And during this time, students get some clinical skills, so they'll get CPR certified. Some doctors teach them suturing and phlebotomy. You'll hear from doctors of varying specialties at this time about their path to practice and their specialties. You get some research experience and then some professional identity building as well. So the summer immersion is such a highlight of our program and really sets a huge foundation for what the medical field looks like. Um, we touch base with our students quite frequently, and make sure that they're getting all the supports they need to be successful along the pre-med path. So we provide them with some advising, academic support, and tutoring. We also have a really amazing writing specialist that will help our students with any writing needs that they might have, whether that be for a school assignment or an internship they're applying to. We provide our students with clinical and research opportunities, because we understand that internships are very important for the medical school application. So we have some opportunities that we provide our students with. And we're really big into networking. So we work with lots of doctors that will come and talk to our students about their path to practice, and their areas of specialty. And we also have a mentorship program where students are paired with either a physician or a medical student that will serve as their mentor for a year. So it's just really great way to kind of build that network of professional support, as well as peer support as well. And just kind of the overall goal of our program is career and medical school preparation. Um, so as students get closer to applying to medical school, we really kind of work on that application. So some of you may be familiar with the MCAT exam, which is the medical school entry exam. We will pay for a prep course for our students, and help them create a study schedule. And then our writing specialist will work with them on the medical school application. And then a huge perk of Avenue M is that students in the Avenue M program get priority application review at the UC Davis School of Medicine, which is a huge perk considering we get 8,000 applications a year, and our Avenue M students' applications are flagged for special review. So to be eligible in our program, we look that students are in good academic standing and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher. Students must apply when they're in community college and have either completed or be in the process of completing 12 units of transferable coursework. So you can apply as early as your first semester. You'll just need to, your first semester of community college, you'll just need to submit a copy of your unofficial transcript with your application so we can see how many units you're enrolled in at the time of application. You must also work with a transfer specialist or advisor at your community college to create an ed plan. And then you must be enrolled at one of our partner colleges, which are listed here. Intend to transfer to Davis, Sac State, or Cal Poly Humboldt since our services as Avenue M extend to these three schools. Maintain good academic standing and desire to become a physician in Northern California and or underserved communities. And then today, if you're interested in the Avenue M program or just interested in medicine in general, I'd encourage you to complete an Avenue M interest form. I'm going to put it in the chat. It can be found on our website and it takes about 2 minutes, but it provides me with your name and email. So come August when our application opens, I can send you an email, remind you of the program, and let you know it's time to apply. Um, Students must apply while they're at community college. And I've also listed the application window on this slide too. So we're open August 1st to November 1st. So a pretty wide window. And then in January, you'll hear about your status as an Avenue M Scholar. I'm also going to put our website in the chat. I believe I have it on the next slide, but I'll link it in the chat as well, since it's really rich with information about our program. So you can find some flyers, some videos, and just more information about Avenue M. And I've also linked my email as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I would love to connect with you. Great. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sophia. That's super helpful to learn more about Avenue M and all the resources you all have available. I know for students who are interested in the pathway to medicine, it can be, pretty difficult and to kind of go navigate it. So it's great that you have all this to help guide them. And I know you mentioned about like the advising part of it. I think that's super big, as you're trying to navigate all of this. So thank you again so much for presenting to us.
Thanks for having me, Eddie.
Okay, so we'll continue on with this presentation. Only a few more slides left. So if you have any questions with anything that's been mentioned, please go ahead and add it to the Q&A function towards the end of the presentation, which we're almost there. I'll be able to answer some of those questions you may have as well. And then again, we have our student outreach ambassadors answering those questions right now as well. Okay, so moving on, research communities. So one thing that I learned when I first came to a UC campus was that research is accessible for students, right? And that in a way is also its own community of finding out people like-minded who are trying to further the field that you're studying. Now, I always thought that research was more for, students in STEM fields and all that, but I realize that majors such as art history, economics, business, they all do research as well in different ways. So if you're considering participating in research, one of the biggest piece of advice I can offer for you is always look at what professors are working on in your department or the department you're interested in, and then see if that matches up with something that you would like to do, right? Because then you could always connect with them once you're a student at UC Davis by taking one of their classes or going to office hours, and then you'll be able to get the process rolling on starting on research projects. A couple other resources are available to students too, and I want to highlight here on the screen are the Undergraduate Research Center, the McNair Scholars Program, and the University Honors Program. All three of these really encourage students to be able to take advantage of the research communities on campus. And again, participating in research, it is something that looks really good on resume or CV as you're getting ready for that next step, right? Whether it's going to graduate school, professional school, or even a career, it's always good to have some experience already in your back pocket as you're getting ready to apply for those next steps. Next is the transfer housing communities. These are the ones I want to highlight. I know I kind of touched a little bit already on the family housing available for students who have their families and are transferring over to UC Davis. We also have the Green, which is a very popular transfer student housing community here on campus. Again, it's a great way for you to connect with students. Sometimes they also host like their own events, and plus you get to see the people over and over again. As you attend some of these social events that they host throughout the year. And then a few more resources I do want to mention are student health and counseling services. You know, we always want to make sure that you are again feeling supported academically on campus, also with your health and not just in physical health, but also mental health. As you can see here with the student health and counseling services, we do have acute care, primary care, counseling, pharmacy, optical services, and other services as well. And then, as part of the Aggie Compass Basic Needs Center, we do have financial resources, food security resources, housing resources, and mental wellness resources. So that is the end of my presentation. I hope you were able to learn a little bit more about the different centers that we have here on campus and different resources that are available for you as students. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us at the Transfer Opportunity Program. We're always here to help you out through your transfer process as well. I hope you all have a good rest of your day and good luck with your educational journey. Bye bye, everyone.